Hello everyone. This video is the continuation of our restaurant POS system series, and in this video we will create our authentication APIs. Okay, so let's start with user model first. So go to the models folder and create a user model.js. Okay, now first of all import here mongoose. Okay, now let's define a user schema. So user here I'm talking about the cashier and or admin who will use our POS system to take orders. Okay, so right here new schema. Okay, and here we will define attributes of user. So number one is name, type string, and required true. Okay, now the another one is email, type is string and required true. Okay, another one is phone, number required true. Okay, and the next one is password, type is string, required true. Okay, and the last one is role, type string, and this is also required. Okay, so these are the attributes I want to store. And one more thing, you have to write here timestamp. Okay, okay, now let's export this model. So here write module.exports. So module exports mongoose.model, and here write user and user schema. Okay, and here you can also use validator to validate our email. So write here validate, and here write validator function v and return. So here just write this and dot test v. Okay, so this will validate. If the email is not validated, it will return error message as email must be in valid format. Okay, so this is done. So email validation is done. Now let's validate our phone as well. Now let's write the code for phone validation as well. So here write validate, and here write validator function and here write return. Okay, test v. Okay, and if the phone number is not validated, we will return a message phone number must be a 10-digit number. Okay, so this is done. Now the next thing is to set up our route. So go to the routes and create a folder user route.js, and inside this first of all import express. Okay, now we have to define a router from express router. Okay, now here write router.route, and we will define a registration route, that is register. Okay, and this will be a post request, and for now we will keep it empty. Later we will add controller here. Another route is for login, this also post request. Okay, now let's export our route. Okay, so these are authentication routes. Okay, so we have defined our routes. Now go to the app.js, and after root endpoint, here write other endpoints and write app.use API/user, and then here write require here routes user route. Okay, so we have defined our routes as well. So model is done, route is done. Now let's create our controller. Okay, so go to the controllers and create a file user controller.js. Okay, so first of all we will define our registration controller. So create a method for register, this register, this is the async function. Okay, now here we have to pass request, response, and next. Okay, and another one is for login, async, request, response, and next. Okay, now let's export these controllers. Module.exports register and login. Okay, now go to your routes and here write register. Okay, and here write login. Okay, so routing is done, model is done. Now let's define our register function. So first of all, wrap everything inside a try catch block, and here in the catch we have to pass on the error to error handler. Okay, inside try, first of all we have to receive all the data coming from request body, that is name, phone, email, password, and the last one is role. Okay, now we have to check if any of this data is empty or not. So if not name or not phone, not email, not password, not role, if any of these data is empty, then we have to throw an error. Okay, so first of all define an error, create HTTP error, and here we have to write the status code is 40400, and error is all fields are required. Okay, now next error. Okay, we have to import this function as well. So write here const http error require from http errors. Okay, so this thing is done. Now the next thing is we have to check whether this email ID is already present in our database or not, like user is already exist or not. So first of all create a variable is user present. Okay, then we have to query in the database that the user with this email is already present in the database or not. So write await user dot find one. Okay, and here we have to pass email. Okay, we have to import this user model as well. Import user require models and user model. Okay, so if user is present, then we have to throw an error. So let's define the error first. Okay, here write 0 and user already exists. Okay, and next error. Okay, and if user is not present, then we have to save the data into our database. Okay, so just create a user object here with the properties like name, phone, email, password and role. Okay, and here const new user and here write user and pass the user here. Okay, now here write await new user dot save. This line will save the data into the database. Okay, now when the data is successfully saved in the DB, we have to send a response to the user. Okay, so here write res.status 201.json. I write success to message new user created and data is new user. Okay, so we are done with our registration controller. Okay, now let's test this. So open your Postman. Here I am using Postman for testing our APIs. So install it in your system and open it, and then click on this create new collection button and click on blank collection. Write POS system. Okay, and we have to add request. So add request. This is register and this is post request, and we have to write this http localhost 8000 API not even just user and register. Okay, and let's send the request without body. Okay, so here we saw an error that is cannot destructure property name of request body as it is undefined. Okay, so what we have to do is go to the app.js, and after connectdb you have to write here middlewares. Okay, express middlewares app.use express.json. Okay, so what this middleware do is this middleware parse incoming request bodies in JSON format. Okay, okay, now let's test again our API. Let's send it again. Okay, now you can see that all fields are required. Okay, that means our request goes to the controller. Okay, now let's pass the data here. Okay, let's send the request. Okay, you can see that user validation failed. Phone number must be a 10-digit number. So you can see that our validation is working fine. Okay, here just write 10. Now I think this will work. Success show, new user created. You can see that name, test email, ID created it. Okay, now let's check our database that whether this data is created in our database or not. So go to a browser and open Cloud MongoDB, and here click on browse collection. Go to the user. Okay, yes, you can see that data is created. Okay, so that means our registration API is working fine. Now one thing you notice that password is visible here, and this is not good. Okay, so we have to hash our password. Okay, so to hash our password, first of all we have to install a package called bcrypt. Okay, so bcrypt, copy this and just stop our server and paste install it. Okay, now rerun our server. Okay, now to hash our password, what we have to do is when the data is saved, before saving the data we have to hash our password. So go to the user models, and here we have to write something like user schema dot pre, and here write save. So before saving the data into database we have to hash our password. Okay, so this is async function. Okay, and here write next, and then if this dot is modified, if password is not modified, if the password is not modified, then we simply next, write the next. We don't want to do anything. And if password is modified, then we have to hash our password. So first of all create a salt here, wait, and import the bcrypt package. Okay, now here write bcrypt.gen salt 10, and this dot password equal to await bcrypt.hash this dot password, and pass the salt here. Okay, so this code will hash our password before saving the data. Okay, now let's test it again. So if I want to add same data, then I think it will throw error. Yeah, user already exists. So just write 1 here in the email and send it again. As you can see that password is hashed. Okay, now check in the DB. Okay, so password is hashed now. So we are done with our registration API. Now next we have to build our login API.